Tina, Erica, Trina, and Ebony are backstage with a host of other talent, dressed in their matching outfits, some in red, black, and green, others in bright cross colors. Everyone is excited and ready to show off their skills. Tina, on the other hand, has butterflies in her stomach, thinking about rapping in front of a crowd for the first time. But Ebony is hyping her up while Trina is focused and practicing her lines. We got this, girl. Let's have fun with it. I don't know why I feel nervous. We've performed on stage dancing in front of hundreds of people before. Erica walks up. She's wearing all black and her hair is slicked back into a tight ponytail. Look at Erica, looking like she's in the Black Panther party. The girls laugh, which eases Tina's nerves. Tina, Trina, Ebony, I can't believe y'all pulled this off. This is going down in history, and I am so happy to be able to dance on stage with the best performers in the ROC. Y'all the next Salt and Pepper and Spinderella. I love you, sister. You stay cheering us on. Now let's say a brief prayer because it's 5 minutes to showtime. The girls circle around holding hands. Tina says a short prayer, then the girls get into their places. In the auditorium, the seats are full of students, teachers, and families. The lights go dim, and 3 spotlights pop up on the stage: red, yellow, and green. There's a slideshow of important Black historical figures shown in black and white photos playing on the screen center stage. The crowd goes wild when they see Tina, Trina, and Ebony with mics in their hands. They perform their original Black History Month anthem created just for this event.
Black History Month, the BLACK. Black History Month, the BLACK. We are the people fed by the sun. By us standing together, we shall overcome, overcome, overcome. We shall overcome.
The crowd was participating and singing the hook with them. They are officially a rap trio. Tina and Ebony also choreographed the dance with several other girls, including Trina and Erica, which they performed later in the run of the show. The entire show was performed 4 times during the school day to accommodate each house schedule and received standing ovations every time. The girls are on cloud 9. They earned their first title as creative directors and show producers, received so many compliments from teachers, and Principal Winter was very pleased with their work. Their Black History Month anthem was ringing in the hallways as students sang it every time the girls passed by. This day changed Tina's vision of her future. Trina pulls Tina and Ebony aside. I told y'all, we about to be big time. Watch, y'all are so dope. And now we ready to perform at all the big competitions. And you know we got to get ready for ATL. Tina's pivot story continues in episode 5 of the Pivot Muse podcast and is brought to you by PenHaus Media. It's important for me to acknowledge that Melanin Muse is presenting the podcast. And Melanin Muse is our love letter to Black women, sharing our genius and our impact on this world, owning our narrative. It is our time. So as you've pivoted throughout your life and career, who are your Melanin Muses and what impact have they had on your journey?
My one melanin muse that I could say off the bat would be my mom. She passed away to breast cancer right before my senior year of high school, but she is within me in everything that I do, how I walk, how I talk, how I present myself, how I go after my dreams. She is literally the person that keeps me going. I just remember how she raised me, the things that she instilled in my mind and my heart, and it's the reason why I am the way I am today. So I would just give it all to her.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. The Pivot Muse brings you curated stories and advice from global professionals on making one of life's most important decisions, which is the pivot. I'm your host, Natina Marie, and our guest today is Ruby Durham, entrepreneur, artist, model, fashion, and interior designer. And that's after becoming an Emmy nominated on camera TV news journalist. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. Let's get real. Let's get into the conversation. You mentioned something that you had to do that's not something you planned for, is being able to heal and move on after losing one of the most important, if not the most important person in your life at such a young age. What would you say helped you out of that and really help you heal?
Yeah, a multitude of things. Really, just focusing on what she helped me with or what she helped me strive for up until the point of her passing away. And that was really just pouring into myself, whether it was athletically or musically or just education. And I knew she would want me to go to college. I knew she would want me to strive for the best. So after that, I just really focused on going to college and running track. I was running track in high school. So that was one thing that she was heavily supporting me on. And so I just took that to college, was there 4 years, and ended up graduating with a communications degree with a focus in broadcast journalism. I really just say just pouring into myself, going after it and staying busy. You really never heal. I think you just know how to get through it. And me getting through it is keeping myself busy, but not to distract from pain, but I know she would not want me to stay stagnant. I know she wouldn't want me to stay idle and just to put one foot in front of the other every day and walk into every room like I'm supposed to be there. And so I just always moved like that. And that's what gets me through.
I love that. And I really want to just ask you a few questions around this pivotal journey that you've been on. I read in a recent article, I believe, of the Bold Journey magazine, where you said, I'm in the middle of creating the woman I want to be. I would love for you to share with us, what does it mean to be in a pivotal journey, becoming the person you desire to be, the vision for yourself? What does that look like?
It really starts how I wake up in the morning. It starts with me praying. It starts with me setting the tone for my day, journaling, having a plan in place. I have a mentor who always tells me a failed plan is a plan to fail. And so it starts from the moment I wake up and from the time that I lay back down and just feeling accomplished, feeling that my day was productive, that I had a plan in place, that I knocked out, if not everything, at least more than half, that I poured into myself. I do believe self-care is everything, because if I can't pour into myself, then I can't pour into people that I hope to run into or who cross my paths from an empty cup. And it's also looking my best. I pride myself on, if you look good, you feel good, you do good. So it's me putting myself together every day. I just really started being more present with that, because there will be days where I'll go out and I'm like, girl, you looking crazy today. Like, hopefully you don't run into nobody. But it's really just waking up, starting my day on a positive note as much as I can, and putting myself together and having a plan in place of things that I need to knock out, and just being her. And my her is standing on whatever business I have every day that's going to knock me closer to my goals. And I think when I go to sleep at night, if I feel good, if I know that I was productive, I prayed, I journaled, I checked in with myself, then I was the woman I needed to be that day. Because in turn, if I'm giving that energy to myself, I'm pretty sure whoever I met, either they caught some energy, they caught some love, they caught some light, because I had to start with that at home. So to me, that is creating the woman I want to be. And everything else, music, fashion, that's just going to propel, because again, I'm high energy because of what I had to do before I stepped out of the house to be able to go into those endeavors 100% present.
I love what you shared about each day becoming. And I'm a planner myself, so I do understand about planning and being able to execute. But there's a lot of people that don't start with planning. I think that's something they can take away from understanding when you have goals in mind and you're trying to pivot into a new situation or out of something that you don't want to be in anymore. It's just taking that time out to plan and reflect and giving yourself grace, right?
Yes.
Do you really find yourself giving yourself grace when you don't check off the list?
Oh, I have to. I have to because a part of me is like, I don't want to say OCD, but I will really try to get everything down to a T. And some days, like, you can. And I give myself grace knowing that, okay, I got something done today. I didn't sit on my butt. I didn't scroll constantly all day. Like, I got something done. I definitely give myself grace because you can't be Superwoman every day.
Exactly. It seems to me as I was researching you that you identify as an entrepreneur in that title. Do you really feel like you identify as an entrepreneur the most? And why or why not?
I definitely identify as an entrepreneur, especially because I am, as of right now, creating space to fully rely on myself to make all the money that I can to not only have a roof over my head, but also have some that I can continue to invest in. That is with my business, Suited by Red. It's a clothing line for women. Been working on that for a little minute now, but I am in the process of just continuing to pave the way to get closer and closer to go live from a rebrand. Outside of that, I am doing interior design, and I do interior design at RH Charlotte right now. And I was doing it before RH Charlotte on my own and professional organizing. Outside of that, I'm either hosting or doing voiceovers for people, I'm modeling. So it's just so many different small things that I'm doing in hopes of it comes together to where I'm not working for anybody. And everybody has their different definition of entrepreneur. One thing I do believe in is manifesting, and you got to be a little delusional to be able to put some things in place. And so, honestly, I'm every woman, but if we want to put entrepreneur, then we can.
Absolutely. I would say for sure that the energy that you're putting off is electrifying. You could tell that you're very passionate about all the things that you're creating and really becoming that person. I commend you. I know that you're going to go exactly where you're trying to go because you really are taking a chance on yourself. So, with your clothing brand, Suited by Red, which I love, tell me, has there been anyone specifically that's mentoring you or helping you on this journey? And let's even take it back. You went to school for journalism. How did you learn how to create designs? I mean, that's just being a creative, right? But sewing and literally creating clothes. This journey just is so intriguing to me.
Okay, so long story short, when I was in college, I was definitely girly girl, but really girly girl tomboy. We wore tracksuits every day. But again, I was going to school to be on the news. So my transition from track to news was very interesting because I didn't know how to dress. I'm being an athlete 24/7, then going in front of a camera, having to be all dolled up. And while I remembered how to step, it was a different type of step, you being on live TV every day. I'm not gonna lie, I remember my boss, she brought me in the office maybe first couple of weeks or months. Can't remember the timeline. She said, Ruby, you have it. You have it, but your style is not it. I need you to prep it up a little bit more. I need you to go talk to somebody. And she just said, I need you more vibrant, bold, like you just looking real plain and basic. Sometimes you need somebody to tell you a little something on the side. But after that come to Jesus meeting, I had one with myself and I just started thinking like, okay, what is my style? Because I didn't know. I just got out of college. I don't have a lot of dress up clothes. So what is my style? And so I just remember growing up, I used to watch Nanny Fine and I loved the nanny. I loved all her looks, all her style. And I just remember not being able to afford anything because you don't make a lot of money when you start on the news. And I was buying like a whole bunch of Amazon dresses, but I said one day I am going to have my own clothing line because even though I was buying Amazon dresses, I don't know how I was putting it together at that time, but so many people, like even viewers, would write me and say, where'd you get that dress? It's like a $15, $20 dress on Amazon. But the way I styled it was cute. And so I said, you know what? I'm about to stop telling people where I get my clothes because I'm going to have my own clothing line. And when I do tell you, you can buy from me. From that moment on, I said, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But I knew it would be expensive. I knew it would take a lot of my time. So I just wasn't ready. But that's where it really grew of I'm going to start my own, especially for women who are walking into a place of business, events, or networking situation. Like, I just want women to feel like they own the room, because when I walk in, even if it's a $15-$20 Amazon dress, I'm gonna walk in there like the dress is priceless. And I want other women to have that confidence. I want other women to have that aura. So, Suited by Red, my tagline is suiting women for success. And the clothing will start off with professional wear just because that's the lane that I was in at the moment. I'll branch out to other things, but it's gonna be a mixture of sophistication and edge, and sizes extra small to 4X, because I want everybody to feel like they're her.
Ooh, I'm here for it. I watched you do a little behind the scenes of a piece you made, and I was just blown away. I'm like, where did this come from? It's like that sense of self-awareness and just being open to your creativity and seeing where it takes you. Is there someone mentoring you or helping you as well?
Yes, so I am learning how to sew. So it's really me building a team. But when I grew up, I always liked to draw. So I can sketch, and I can, if I see it, I feel it, I know exactly how I want to create it. Like, I'm just a visionary too. And so when I won Miss North Carolina for America Strong 2022, I went to this fashion show and I was sitting beside this lady. And I don't know what intrigued her to me or vice versa, but God really, he did this big one, because lo and behold, she's from New York. Her name is Daisy Malone. She's from New York. She's worked in the garment district. She's worked in fashion houses. She's had her own line in New York, and she's still making pieces, and she knows the who's who of New York, where to go get buttons, where to go get fabric, where to go find this and that. And I just started talking to her about like who I was, and she started telling me who she was. Next thing you know, she's telling me train routes in New York to go find fabric for my Suited by Red pieces. So she is my mentor, and she's definitely a blessing in disguise, because I wasn't supposed to go to this fashion show that I went to, but I'm so glad I went, because soon as I sat down, I created a relationship with someone who is definitely going to be talked about when I talk about Suited by Red. Just because if you don't have a mentor in this business, or just in anything, I feel like you're kind of the blind leading the blind. But when you have someone who's already walked and ran, then they can help you get through some of the kinks more efficiently. So I would say definitely Daisy Malone.
I have a great question from our producer, and you mentioned your pageant. How did you get involved with pageants? And as a woman of color, can you talk to maybe some of the misconceptions or untold truth of being a Black woman in that world?
So growing up, I was in sports. I was singing, acting, and dancing at this community center called the Phyllis Wheatley Repertoire Theater. And I was also doing pageants. And this was all my mom. My mom literally had me busy. And I started doing pageants when I was in high school. And then I ended up competing in the Miss South Carolina teen pageant. When she passed away in 2010, I stopped. I stopped singing, acting, dancing. I stopped doing pageants and just focused on track. And I was at the Roval 400 2021, and that is a big NASCAR race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I was out there reporting, working in the pit, and I remember just walking in the pit, and there was a current queen. She was Mrs. North Carolina at the time, and she stopped me, and she was like, "Hey, I don't know who you are, but have you ever thought about doing a pageant?" And I said, "Ooh, I have. I used to do them when I was younger, but that was in 2010. I have not even thought about it." And so she was like, "I don't have a lot of time." Her name is Tara Almendinger. Her husband is a NASCAR driver. The race was about to start. She was like, "Well, let's exchange contact so I can tell you about this upcoming pageant." And I was like, "Oh," like literally, I'll exchange my contact, but I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm doing a pageant, but I'll hear you out. So she probably stayed on me from about October until about January and February, like pushing me like, "Girl, you can do it." Just honestly, and it wasn't like sign up, sign up. It was more so she was just speaking so much life and confidence in me out of nowhere. The power of her words got me to apply. And I sent an application to the pageant, ended up doing it, ended up winning. And I will say, as a Black woman, I feel like I can't really speak too much on any of the nuances or any of the harsh realities, because the purpose for me doing a pageant is definitely confidence. It's definitely working hard on your body, how you speak, how you talk, how you walk, and then getting up there and being your absolute best. And yes, there are going to be people who are probably like, why are you doing the pageant? Or there are going to be girls within the pageant who are sizing you up, looking you up. But I feel like if you just have this own self confidence and awareness, you are literally doing it for yourself and hoping that you can inspire someone who's in the audience or who's watching that they can do it too. And you keep it moving. You keep it moving if you win or if you don't win, because at the end of the day, you became a better person because of what you put yourself through. So I can't really talk about the nuances because I'm gonna keep it positive. I'm gonna keep it positive because of how it's changed my life and how I would hope to give confidence to other women to. It could be a pageant, it could be a hobby, it could be anything. What are you putting off? What are you scared to do? What are you so uncomfortable to do? What would you do that you would literally hide underneath, literally just be so scared? I would want to put into you the confidence to do it. Do it scared, do it alone, do it broke, do it without a plan, do it with no support. Just do it, and you're gonna come out a winner no matter what.
I love that perspective. I'm doing that now. I'm in front of the camera.
Yes.
My comfort zone is behind the camera filming or behind the computer running businesses. I love it. That's part of who you are and what you put out there for other women to take from you, is that all these different experiences, and especially the ones that scare you, they bring out the best in you. So I was just over here cheesing because I'm like, that's me. Yep. Because I was gonna do the podcast without the video. I was like, I don't need the video. Like, it's a podcast. That's the whole purpose.
Doing this with you, I would have never guessed that you almost wanted to do it without showing your face.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you're face to face. I'm a face to face person, so it just feels better.
It does feel better. I'm happy. Like, I'm happy that I'm doing it and pushing myself for one of my big fears, which I don't know where it came from. So why don't you just do it? You mentioned something that brought me to one of the questions I have for you, especially being a multifaceted person myself, is how do you deal with people chiming in on your career decisions, especially the one to pivot from a successful and promising career in media? You did get nominated for an Emmy. And what advice do you have to others that's dealing with following different paths and just their passions, and that may not be choosing one lane? What do they say to naysayers?
I say, do it. I am a rebel at heart. And I can have 100 people telling me, don't do it, don't do it. Or 100 people telling me I'm crazy or I'm trying to do too much. But if it's in my heart, if it's in my mind, I'm a Taurus. That means I'm a bull, so I'm stubborn. And I feel like the stubbornness can go good or bad, because sometimes it's okay, you being too stubborn, but I'm stubborn with my goals. I'm stubborn with where I want to be in life. I'm stubborn with the success that I know I can have. I'm stubborn with my mom not having no money, not having a lot of resources when I was younger, but we're staying out at track practice for an extra 30 minutes. I'm driving you an extra hour to go get help on this. We're going to stay a little bit extra over here. And so nobody can tell me I can't, because she could. She did. And it's who I am today. That's why I go back to, she is my muse, because I didn't watch her struggle. I didn't watch her just be there for me for nothing. So I got to go crazy for her and for myself too. But that's my win, is to show her, like, you told me when I was in middle school to try out for everything. Go see what you're good at. And when you figure out what you're good at, go crazy, go hard, and be serious about it, because we don't got a lot. So if I'm putting it in this, then you got to go crazy. And so even though she's not here with me today, I do have a lot of people who think that I'm doing the absolute most. And I don't think so, because I was raised this way. I was raised to be everything that I wanted to be. And so my advice would just be, who are you? Dig deep into who you are. How do you want to take how you were raised and put that into your adult life? Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? Figure out what your values are. What are you passionate about? At the end of the day, if you had nothing, if you had nobody to call on, and if you were stripped down, like, what do you have? For me, that's my values, that's my heart, that's my desire to go get everything I want. So I'm going to do it. And I don't really hear nobody because I'm going to put in the work. We'll talk later. But at that point, I'm on to something else. So, catch me while I can. But there's really no race. It's just me taking the steps every day to be the best I can be. If that looks crazy to some, then that's probably not my tribe, because the tribe that I have are mentors like the one I just spoke about, Daisy Malone, who's helping me put the pieces together and helping me think smart, not hard, to keep doing it. So just do it and look good while you're doing it, because when you look good, you feel good. It all goes back to who is her. Who is she? Like, who is that woman that you want to be? And when you know who that is deep inside, I mean, can't nobody tell you nothing.
Okay. I want to say congratulations on your single release of Toxic.
My toxic trait is I can heal you. My toxic trait is I can build you to be the man I see with me. But it's killing me, taking my energy to somebody who can't hold their weight. I'm done telling you I'm through with these games, 'cause you can't change no grown man that's stuck in his ways. I'm still trying to say I love you, still trying to say I trust you, but it's hard to feel that way.
I love the song. It's beautiful. And just to see you pour your passions into everything you love, it exudes excellence in everything you're doing. I love the advice you just gave to folks. And for me, I'm the same way. I don't really have an answer for you. I just show you. I'm gonna do what I want to do. So I'm gonna just show you. And you are showing it in great and being grateful about it. And these are all the things you love. One of the things I noticed watching some of the BTS of you actually recording the song, there was just so much joy in your face, and you was in this really comfortable space. I know what that looks like because I have a music background with family and myself, and just that feeling. And I was like, that's a familiar feeling, right? My question to you is, in the studio creating music, is that one of your safe spaces? What were you feeling when you was recording the song?
Okay, so it's so crazy because when I go back and look at some of the behind the scenes, I'm like, girl, you're singing about this toxic situation, but you smiling. Is that toxic? Because you singing about something toxic, but you smiling. But the smiles go back to the joy that it brings me. I'm so excited that I'm getting it out of me. It's like I've been holding it in so long, and I think that's why you see this face of, oh, I'm here, I'm comfortable. Like, where do we start? How do we keep going? Where do I want to take it? How do I go crazy? It's just so many questions that when he would play it back, or we'll record it 100 times, like one line, I would sit back and just be so thankful. At the time, I didn't think I was going to release it. My goal was, side note, so when I did the pageant, one of the questions the judge asked me, because you have a judge's description of who you are when you sit in front of them. And he said, I'm taking this paper away. What is something that no one knows about you? And so I said, well, I know how to sing. And he was like, what? You don't have that on this paper. You never spoke about it in your interview. And I was like, I know. I said, go back to my mom. Like, when she passed away in 2010, I felt like I lost my voice. I felt like I lost it. So I just stopped and I focused on school and track. And because that was the only way I was going to get to college. And so he just spoke a few words that really encouraged me to start singing. Flash forward, I went to Vegas for the second pageant that I had to compete in. That was a national pageant. And I sang karaoke and I posted it on my story. The producer that I'm working with now, he reached out to me and was like, I didn't know you could sing. We were already friends on social media. And I was like, yeah, I just don't. And he was like, so you've been holding out. Flash forward, I said, okay. After that judge spoke words to me, I said, okay, book some time, just book some studio time and just go for it. Just do it. Like, just start somewhere. Because I have so many songs. I write songs like in my notes all the time. So I just booked some studio time and I said, I'm going to record 3. Because I'm like, I don't know what I sound like. What does my voice sound like? Do I want to do pop? Do I want to do R&B? Like, what am I feeling? What is my lane? I'll record 3 and we'll go from there. And I end up releasing Toxic. And so just in that process, it was happy, but more so how I was feeling about the song. It was just a relationship. It stemmed back to a relationship that was toxic. And the end of the song is like a release. It's a release of me being in a toxic relationship. It's a release of me putting myself in a position that I don't want to be in, but it's almost like settling. When you settle, that could be toxic because it's like you carrying a resentment, but you're still sitting in the resentment. It was really just a mixture of I'm so happy that I'm here right now, that I put myself in this position to go into something where I can just grow my voice and showcase this vulnerability that's inside of me, showcase another passion, but also release a toxic hold that's been on me, and that was a relationship. And so I really can't wait to see what happens after this because I've recorded like so much more. I was like, I hope people don't think that I'm like sad, toxic music. That's just where I was at that moment. But I can't wait to put out more and just to see how people love it because I ultimately want to build a community around my music and hopefully inspire people and just be super relatable but do it in a stylish way.
I'm here for it. One of the things we do is play a game called Pivot or Push. So I will present to you 3 scenarios and you'll just say pivot or push. The scenario that you're in, you're pivoting out of it because you feel like the positives outweigh the negatives. Pushing is really pushing through, staying in the situation because you know yourself and you're like, for me, this makes sense. So, your first scenario, you're in your mid 30s. You find yourself in a toxic work environment. Hold on. I didn't even realize that I chose that question for you. You find yourself in a toxic work environment. Despite the toll on your mental health, the prospect of leaving a well-paying job makes the decision complex. Reflecting on your long-term well-being and weighing the option of prioritizing your mental health over financial stability. Do you pivot out of the job or do you push?
I'm pivoting. I'm pivoting.
All right. So entering a serious relationship, you discover significant differences in values and life goals. While tempted to pivot away and seek a more compatible partner, you deliberate on whether open communication and compromise can bridge the gap or if it's time to move on for your personal happiness. Pivot or push.
That's hard. Okay. Oh, can you ask that again?
I will give it to you a different way.
Okay.
Say you wanted children and the man that you're with is a serious relationship, they don't want children. And that's really something they're standing on as a really serious thing. But those type of life goals that you have for yourself and you see yourself. Now I didn't put an age on this, it's just any age. Do you stick with it? So push or you pivot?
I'm gonna have to pivot because I'm trying to push out a baby. Like I want to push out at least one. I used to say 5, but if the Lord blesses me with one, then I can satisfy.
All right. So you find yourself in deep debt after living a lavish lifestyle and lots of girl math. Now you're faced with the decision between pivoting, going to live with family to pay off debt, or pushing through by cashing out on your 401k to pay off debt and starting over. Pivot or push.
I'm gonna push. Okay, I don't want to take back what I'm saying. I technically would do both because I don't mind humbling myself to have to go back to family, but I'm gonna still use that money to invest in something while I'm in that stage of life where I got to go back home.
Makes sense to me. I'm going to cut back expenses and I'm cashing out. It's starting over because you can make some more money. I really appreciate you. And this has been an amazing conversation. Definitely love your energy, love everything that you're doing, literally rooting for you.